competitive speed
The
series.
absolute carnage on this final lap. 5 red lights here in Miami. Can they regain that place?
I cannot believe my eyes.
Who comes out on top? Down the inside into Casio Triangle. This could end in disaster.
Zach Miles taking the lead. It was an all or nothing approach for the TF10 team.
And this could be crucial for NBR.
A race to remember for Jeremy Gallagher.
And they are officially the champions of the season.
It does not get closer than that. What a race. What a season.
Good evening and welcome everybody to Competitive Speed Series. We are hopefully here live. I just need to reduce my volume just slightly because I've just seen it go in the red. But we're here for the Chinese Grand Prix in Shanghai. It's never a CSS stream on my side without a little bit of technical difficulties. But I am joined by the incredible Ollie. Ollie, welcome along for this Chinese Grand Prix.
Thank you very much, Gareth. Yeah, round 9 of the championship. Where's it gone? It feels like it was only yesterday that we were talking about round 1. But yeah, round 9 of the championship and around one of my favourite tracks as well. So can't wait. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do love it. I'm glad it's back on the calendar this season. So yeah, can't wait to get into qualifying and get racing very shortly.
It's very, very shortly indeed. Let's have a quick look at the calendar. I'm going to do calendar first because I just want to make sure that the standings are correct because I don't want to get told off by Ace through this. So we'll wait and see. But it's an interesting calendar that we've got. Obviously, we've been a fair few way through the season now with not much left to go.
No, not at all. Like it seems to have flown by with 4 rounds remaining of the championship left. Obviously, China tonight, Mystery next week, and then we've got Jeddah and Abu Dhabi to end the season. You know, can't wait for it.
And let's have a look at the standings then. TF10 have pretty much, it's a 62-point lead over ET8, and that is in itself an incredible margin, even with the points on offering for us tonight. And they're doing well, TF10, aren't they? I don't want to say it because usually I jinx them at this, or jinx teams at this point, but they've kind of got maybe they're stroking the trophy.
I mean, they're putting themselves in the right place, aren't they? You know, they've managed to get 4 wins this season. They've always had at least one driver on the podium throughout the season, so doing fantastic. I'm hoping they haven't peaked too early because again, we've still got 4 races to go, and anything can happen in this championship, as we've seen already. But like we've mentioned on multiple occasions, points going down to 15th can really change things. And just getting across the line, even in that last points playing position, can really change things. And obviously, they've been consistent with it. Whether ET8, NLR, and BRT can catch up with them, we'll have to wait and see. But I still feel it's a 4-way fight, Gareth, for the title.
Yeah, let's. I think you're right, but let's head down to the track, and we've got drivers over there ready and waiting, and the drivers are kicking in at this present moment in time, and this is going to be a very, very tough one for a lot of drivers. It's classed more as a pad track, but I do have to just quickly shout out Byron again for these wonderful graphics that he's added to the track there, the Sim Racing sponsorship and the CSS logo in the background. Really nice stuff as we head on down. Is that, I want to see, no, it's the other BRT of Tech. And I'm quite lucky here. I did WR around the Chinese Grand Prix on Friday night, so I've got a double bill of China and just a little bit of stats for China from a competitive speed series point of view. They've only been around here from the console or PlayStation, Xbox side of things, and that was only once, and that was back in season 3, round 1. So a fair while ago now, really, when you look at it. And Shizu Boberts took the victory on the Xbox side of things after disqualification meant he took the victory. And the PlayStation side of things, you've got Katkowski for the CPI team as well. So now it's all merged together. These guys, maybe a few drivers not really or those teams not around anymore. But it's still interesting to see that there's a lot of pressure on them anyway. But let's see what Tech can do. Tech was very, very quick on Friday night. It's a driver that I think doesn't get the deserve that I think he probably deserves.
Yeah, I think unfortunately at times in this league he's been fantastic, and then something that he can't control has cost him the race. That's happened on a few occasions, and it's been disappointing for him. But I'm sure he'll try and show us what he's made of here in China, in Shanghai. Just comes around this long nail section, as I think it's referred to, as he comes down the back straight. DRS wide open into one of the main overtaking opportunities at this circuit. Heavy braking zone, brakes just about the 100-meter board. Tight hairpin, trying to get on the power as quickly as he can before he comes around the final corner to end his first flying lap, Gareth.
Turn 16 is always a tricky one. You can invalidate by cutting, you can invalidate by overextending, but Tech's done a 129 to start, well, 129.5 to start things off. Let's see who else could be on the line. Let's see what Simba Rocks one in the Williams car can do for the time being. The FRT driver, as he's come through 15 now and into turn 16, as a little bit of brake dust flying up there, but nothing major. Looks like a pretty good corner and across the line for Simba Rocks one, and that's into 4th place provisionally for the Williams driver. PGR F1 Justin. That's a bit of a mouthful. I might just go with F1 Justin because of BRT Justin, who's not here tonight. But let's see what they can do. Across the line, it's currently 12th for them. So the times are coming in thick and fast at the moment.
Yeah, everyone wants to get an early banker lap in. Again, this track was off the game for a little bit, but it's obviously back on full time now, and it's great to see. Here's just looking who hasn't settled out. Brando and Lifebout. He's not still in the pits at the moment, as is Epic Vale is out in 20th at the moment. Obviously, he had to do a lap time, but Brando for TF10 hops the curb, comes around the snail section again. Unfortunately, invalidation on this occasion, so he'll have to come back in the pits and put a new set of wheels on that car to try again. His teammate in Tony Roche, obviously winner last time out, in 5th place, guys. So still some work to do, and it's quite a gap actually between Tech and the rest of the grid. So Tech obviously nailed that first lap, and it's a challenge to the rest of the grid to see if they can match him.
Now, I want to, this is definitely going to test my memory a little bit, but I want to say that Tech pulled off an absolute incredible final lap on WR on Friday evening to produce, I think, a 0.3 of a second lead over everyone in qualifying. It may have been 2, but still, that is quite impressive, if I don't say so myself. And Tech's, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to ensure that goes down. But let's go on board with Lifebout then, as I think they are going to be one of the last drivers to set their first lap times. Obviously, Brando and Epic Vale have invalidated their ones, and Nico Rasenberg serving a qualifying ban for that. So tyres being heated up for Lifebout as they come down this incredibly long back straight. You've already mentioned it's a great overtaking opportunity, but you can also get the overtaking done before the braking zone.
Absolutely, yeah. That's obviously so head down in the slipstream and then pop out if you need to, using the DRS. But a lot of the time, you nail the exit of turn 13, and you can, like I said, get the move done beforehand. So I'm sure we'll see quite a few moves coming into the heavy braking zone later on in the race. But round this long turn 1, I'd argue it's 1 turn rather than 2 according to the mini map. But exits 3 and 4 there. The second, oh no, they've removed the DRS zone from this section. Okay, that's new. I'll have to remember that. So yeah, another what was an overtaking opportunity there, but I don't think we might see many through there. But through this long, twisty middle sector, we see a lot of it. Gareth, we mentioned Mexico, we mentioned Silverstone. A lot of the tracks have this middle sector, like tight and twisty, but looks to be Lifebout nailing this part of the circuit so far, and heads to the end of sector number 2 now.
Yeah, they very much could possibly use a little bit more on the exit curb out of the exit in turn 10 there, but looking relatively strong at the moment. The back end doesn't slide out too much, as we've seen a few times between turn 12 and 13. Straight down this incredibly long back straight with their teammate behind, just about to start a lap time. Epic Vale, then the ET8 driver, drivers at different stages of their qualifying. Let's see how it will continue. But Lifeboat, a little bit of pressure on, well, a bit pressure on both of them, if I say so, because they're yet to set a lap time. Obviously 10 minutes left of qualifying remaining, and here comes Lifeboat then across the line, throws themselves into P5 for the time being, which isn't not too bad of a way to set up. And here comes Epic Vale, sticking to the right hand side of the grid so they don't hit the bumps. It's a good way to do it. Ensure you don't lose too much times over the bumps on the start finish straight, then into this long right hander, which is pretty much the same as turn 12 and 13, but just the opposite way round, I've noticed.
Yeah, not far, is it? It reminds me of turn 1, 2 and 3 Malaysia as well. Unfortunately, we're not we don't have that track on the game these days, but yeah, some great tracks in Asia. And, I think China is definitely one of them, but Epic Vale nailing this middle sector at the moment. Touches the curb on the inside, doesn't want to drift too wide onto the Astro on the outside on both these corners, down towards the end of sector 2. We'll see how he's doing. Purple, if you think if you can agree with the mini-map in that sector, but trying to get the power on as quickly as possible. But like you mentioned earlier, Gareth, don't want to put it down too early in that back end, stepping out and costing you all your pace down this straight. We'll see where Epic Vale goes and whether he can match a teammate in P5 shortly.
It's looking relatively good if you're ET8 at the moment. Obviously, driver in 5th and a driver just about to set a pretty decent lap time. But if I think there's a little bit of a mistake through. It's not used as much of the apex as they could have done at the hairpin of turn 14 and across the line for Epic Vale. But still, up into 3rd place, exactly the same time as NLR Coolman, sorry. But BRT Silo has thrown themselves into 2nd provisionally. Let's see what Tech Brutal can do. Round the hairpin now. He's very, very quick at the moment. He's just been proving to be quick at this track constantly through the final. No, he's deciding that it's not going to be quick enough. And into the pits. He's a very, very quick driver as Tech, but obviously not happy with how things have gone on that occasion. Who else could be on a lap time for us to... EVE Lucas up on that 0.1 of a second, a 1/10 of a second up is Lucas. Let's see how they handle the rest of this lap.
Yeah, we'll see. He goes a little bit wide there, but tries to catch it back, and I think he nails the exit there, coming through to 9 and 10. There again, still just over 2/10 up, coming into the middle sector. So good lap so far from Lucas. See whether he can challenge drivers up ahead. His teammate has jumped up into P2 Zidane, so he displaces Silo in 2nd. So let's see whether Lucas can match his teammate. He should be on for about 5th place, 5th, yeah, at the moment, roughly, but going off the sector 2 time. So we'll see how he does going around the final 2 corners here. Tries to get the power down as quickly as he can into turn 16. Like you mentioned earlier, how difficult it is not to run wide there or cut the corner previously, but it crosses the line up into P5. Not bad a prediction there, Gareth.
Yeah, looking good for, well, it's kind of looking good for a lot of the BRT and EVD teams there. They're looking quite strong and forceful at the moment. NLR 9th and 6th at the moment, and both TF10 and NLR really need to Brando's up into 4th, so I don't know, it's looking very tasty with some of these top drivers. ET8 up into 7th and 8th as well, so the top 4 teams really showing their worth at the moment.
Yeah, and EVE throwing their name in the hat as well in all this. Just looking at them in the standings there, I'm sure we'd love a run for them, but I think it might be too little too late for EV. But great showing from both of them. But just looking at the standing count, I'm sure we'll chat about it later, but BRT down in 4th at the moment, 93 points behind TF10. They could really do with a good result tonight to try and claw their way back up the standings, because again, early in the season they were leading the championship, but they're falling away in recent races, and this could be a clinical race for them.
Definitely, and I think I messaged Ace that I couldn't believe how, it sounds horrible to say, but how far they've fallen away from the top of this one. BRT have been absolutely solid on this game as a team as a whole, and for them to sit 4th, I was surprised by it. But they're pulling it back now, and it's, I'm surprised they haven't pulled out their wild card of Joe Murphy, because Joe Murphy is an incredibly quick driver. But like I think I mentioned earlier on, he's wheel, but it's very, very pad orientated, this track. OVR Thomas, then we are on board with a little bit of a mistake, I think, into the apex there of turn 6, and possibly has compromised their lap a little bit. We'll wait and see what the sector time has said when they come through the sector marker board, if it will tell us, down this shorter straight and across it. It's 1/10 up, so it can't have affected them that much. There is a poll in the chat who you think is going to take a poll for pole. And Ollie, I'm going to ask you, who do you think is going to take pole tonight?
We better, Gareth, if you were Polish as well. A poll doing a poll doing a poll. But we won't go into that tonight. Who do I think? I mean, going off what you said earlier, I think it's got to be Tech. From his experience, obviously, in WR earlier in the week, I think this could be his. I mean, set the pace early on, but I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult because I'm gonna butcher his name. Zinedine. Zinedine. Right. Okay. I'm gonna struggle. I say that though. Tech smashed it and gone 3/10 quicker, so I'm gonna stick with Tech. I think with this Gareth.
I think it was, well, Zinedine was there on Friday night as well, so it was both drivers, I think, at the top of the grid. So Tony Richet, however, this is going to be interesting to see how Tony, because obviously Tony's had some incredible pace through all this. I think Simba Rockwell just thrown themselves into 7th place there. I think that could be the rest of the drivers on. Brando, are you on a lap time? Let's see how Brando handles these. It looks like he's pushing a little bit, so let's have a go on this one. Brando is up by 0.07 or 0.07 of a second, which is possibly enough to get him closer to Silo, but not enough to displace at the moment. Hopefully for them, they can produce something in this final sector, but there's less to be better at in this final sector, because all it is really is one long straight and a couple of corners.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's I think it's more thinking about how you go through 11, 12, and 13, which sets you up for the straight. You know, realistically, it's there aren't many corners left. Oh, and Brando makes a huge mistake through 16, and that's cost him massively there, and that's an invalidation for him, unfortunately. And I don't think he'll get round again, Gareth, potentially. It's a long old lap.
2 minutes 33. A lot of these drivers who's done a last lap very late on, BRT Silo being one of them, who've thrown themselves into 2nd place with 1:29.3. It could be a BRT lockout on the front row, but we'll wait and see. A lot of drivers now coming in. Have we got a Mercedes at the back end of the track going to do a lap time? We'll go on board with Kuhlmann, but I think they are going into the pits. We'll have to see which one's the next one. It is Silo who's next. It will be a Haas driver after that. Will that be? It is looking like Brian Emmers, the IRT driver in 15th, who will be the next driver to set a lap time. Tech is holding out a little bit longer, but they've got to think about getting out of that pit lane if they want to do another lap time, because it's going to run out. And I say that, Tech has thought, you know what, I'm no one's beaten that, and I've done the lap time. That is showing some muscles right there.
As well as Kuhlmann has retired, and Simba Rocks won. They're all thinking that's enough for me. Tony Richet out as well, so a lot of guys retiring early from the session. Still plenty of drivers to improve though.
See what Brian can do. First of the final runners, I suppose you could call them, sticking to the right hand side of the start-finish straight to avoid the bumps and just so they don't lose any time. Brando there in 6th. So those drivers will finish no higher than 4th, 5th and 6th respectively there. AVE Lucas, who showed that he can produce some good lap times, could be thinking, I can get a couple of extra positions in this qualifying session.
Absolutely, and he's trying to catch up with his teammate Zinedine in 3rd place. He's also not far away, actually. He's just up the road, so maybe I think he might be too far away to try and benefit from the slipstream of down the back straight, but we'll see how the EV boys do. They're both obviously in the top 7 at the moment, places to gain potentially, and I'm sure they'll really gunning for it now on these final laps. But where's Brian down in 15th still? He's slightly down in his time by 0.010 on this upcoming round. The long part of 12 and 13. We'll see whether he can try and improve on that 15th place, catch up with his teammate not far away in 13th.
DRS will open just around about now for this long back straight. It's quite impressive that they've opened the DRS later on this straight. You would, I don't know. I think it would be better the whole straight DRS open, but you know, who am I to say? So we will see how this will go through the final corner for Brian and across the line for the IRT driver. It's an improvement, but not enough at the moment. Zinedine then, he's up by 0.083 on that middle sector. There's still time to gain, I'm sure, through these final few corners, tight and twisty. Just brake maybe a little bit later into turn 16. Take as much chance as possible. And he's cut as much as possible, but he's well over the track and invalidates his teammate then, coming into the final corner. Across and again does the same. And that is all they wrote on qualifying in for the top drivers. What about Lifebout? Sorry, let's go on with the Gavroche for the time being, but they go on board with Lifebout, who is coming into the hairpin now. Plenty, 0.06 I think on their time, but enough possibly to displace Simbarox one if they get the final few bits right.
Yeah, potentially, but it was a bit late on the brakes there. It does improve though, and up into to 8th place for him. Great lap time.
I think we missed Epic Vale going into 5th as well, which is quite impressive there as well. What about Thomas across the line? We missed what time it was going to be, but wow, what an interesting one to end qualifying. Thomas did go into 11th in the end there. And we'll go down the order quickly. It's Tech, Silo, Zinedine, Tony Richet, Epic Vale, NLR Coolman, Brando, Lifebout, Lucas, and Simbarox one rounding out the top 10. And the next 10 is Thomas, Carrasco, Gavroche, Slash, Rappy, Chorizo, Brian, Paulos, Justin, F1 Justin, and Nico Rasenberg, who has unfortunately got a a qualifying ban for this one. It would have been interesting if he had a through qualifying. Let's go and have a look at the standings just again quickly. And this is going to be, we restart the lobby here just to make sure no glitches or anything, because F124. But as standings go, we go towards the middle, and obviously EVE, they're in 6th place, a little bit out of the way, but maybe a possibility for jumping up a little bit higher.
I mean, 5th. I think that's the most they're going to get, unfortunately. I mean, if you look at it, it's almost a 2-tier fight. You've got the top 4, and then there's AMR are 250 behind EF10, but the gaps between AMR, EVE, and Ovia, and even IRT aren't that much. So I think you've still got a great fight for 5th place in the standings as well, Gareth. It's not. It's if they get some, I guess they can't get the top positions. They're not going to jump too much, but if they're consistent, they can finish inside the top 15. There's every chance in the world of them getting that 5th place in the standings.
We are, while just the reset is happening, we are just going to have a quick word from our sponsors and go to the intermission screen, and we'll be back in a moment. Hello and welcome back. And obviously, just had to get a little bit of information sent our way, and it's such a shame to bring this up, but we will be losing a driver for the race because of ignored of a qualifying. But we don't want to go too much into detail. It just seems like there was miscommunication, which is such a shame. But it has mean there's a few drivers jumping up a position. So the grid will be Tech Brutal on pole with his BRT teammate Silo in second, rounding out a BRT front row of the grid. Then you've got Zinedine, Tony Mache, Epic Vale, Coolman, Brando, Lifebout, Simba Rocks One, Thomas, Carrasco, Gavroche / Rappi, Chorizo, Brian, Paulos, F1 Justin, and then Nico Rosenberg down at the bottom. Let's go back to the standings, because this is a 62 points between TF10 and ET8, and TF10 only fourth and, well, I say only fourth and seventh, ET8 fifth and eighth. So they're right next to each other on the grid, which is interesting.
Well, I mean, they're battling out themselves, and obviously that will help the BRT boys. And we saw it. It was, I think we've seen that the significant, not significant is the wrong term. The team play working really well was at Imola with the NLR guys, and how they were able to control the race consistently and didn't allow. I think it may be Murphy at the time who was racing for BRT through, and then things happened in that race. But they worked so well together, and I think that will work even better at this circuit. So allow themselves to overtake each other backwards and forwards using the DRS, and I think they could run away with it if they don't. If they can hold the front too, that could well be what happens at the front, and we'll have to commentate on over the rest of the grid. But we'll have to wait and see. We don't know what the weather's going to be like. Safety cars do happen at this circuit. Plenty of overtaking opportunities, so we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. We'll say one thing and they'll do the opposite as usual, Gareth.
Yeah, we're only commentators at the end of the day, and generally we get it wrong. Oh goodness. Anyway, enough. I was going to talk about something else then. But look, you got NLR and BRT, and obviously BRT have done a really good job. They're on the front row of the grid. They can control the race and control, the DRS games and what have you. But imagine if there's a safety car early on.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it at Singapore 2 weeks ago how much safety cars affected the race, and how that all changed things. I appreciate Singapore is a street circuit and China isn't, but we have seen them in the past. Weather can be an issue here as well. So we'll see how it pans out shortly. Hopefully they're just figuring out the grid, obviously, with someone leaving, unfortunately. So we'll get that figured out, and then we'll get racing for round 9. And Gary, I have to say, it's crazy how quickly the season has gone. And after tonight, we've only got, obviously, the mystery round next week. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend. We have to do it with another commentator. But then finish off with Jeddah, which is a great circuit for sim racing. And then round off in the new home, when you finish track in Abu Dhabi to end the season.
Yeah, some incredible. Well, we don't know what the mystery round is yet. God, I'm not sure what I would actually want right now. I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I always love Brazil, so I'm Brazil, maybe Spa. I'm trying to think what else we could throw in there. But the final ways, obviously, finishing in the Middle East with Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi. Saudi, I don't think we've had a bad race there. It's always been pretty action-packed, hasn't it? We've done a 100% race there, which felt like it was only about a 25% race. So, yeah, there's some good stuff to do. Yeah. We will... Well, let's run down the order one last time for everyone for qualifying as we just wait for everything to just kick off properly. The lobby should be starting very, very shortly. But it is Tech Brutal and BRT Silo, the two BRT drivers locking out the front row of the grid. An incredible job for them there. Then we've got Zinedine in third, and alongside him on the second row of the grid, we've got TF10 Tony Richet, Epic Vale in fifth with NLR Coolman in 6th. TF10 Brando in 7th. With alongside him is Lifebout in 8th there. Then we've got Simba Rocks 1 in 9th with OVR Thomas in 10th. Then we've got Carrasco, Gavroch, Slash, Rappy, Chorizo, Brian Emmers, Paulos, F1 Justin, and Nico Rasenberg. I'm not sure. I've not made a mistake on that name all the time I've done commentary until just then, and it's probably have made a mistake. But anyway, it's an interesting one. From what we've seen so far in qualifying, who's going to take victory tonight?
It's difficult not to say either of the BRT drivers in Tech and Silo with how well they did in that qualifying session. Difficult one, Gareth. Do I be boring? Not boring is a wrong term. Do I go predictable and go with a pole sitter? I probably will. I think I'm going to go for Tech or a BRT win generally, with how quickly they were in qualifying. But Zinedine for EVE has a great chance. You know, he was quick, like he said, mentioned in WOR. So if he can throw his hat amongst hat in the ring as well, he could be up there. But I think for now, Gareth, I'll stick with Tech.
Yeah, it's a good bet, I'm sure. Well, let us know in the chat who you think is going to take victory tonight. And team and driver, it will be great to have your thoughts. Keep them coming in. That's what the chat function is for. And, well, we did have rain in the fake race lobby, I suppose you can call it. Are we going to see it in this lobby? It is about to be shown to us. It is a little bit, there's a little bit of deluge.
There is indeed. See what the drivers are doing. It's intermediate at the moment. It looks like for all the drivers, so we should get going very quickly in this session. So, yeah, whether it clears up, we'll have to wait and see. The fans on top of the grandstand are ready to go. They're already excited for the start of this race. I'm sure hopefully everyone else in the chat is as well, Gareth. Yeah, it's going to be... the start here, it might be a bit hectic because around the way the corner folds in on itself. So hopefully we get all 19 drivers through the first couple of corners.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. We just wait. Maybe set up spins loaded to their systems, and it's just a little bit of rain hitting, but it's all good. But we are just looking at the board one last time and just seeing how important it is for ET8 to get a good result tonight, and everyone else other than TF10 really, because it's a 62-point lead that they have at the top of the table at the moment. I'm trying to think of the best way to really describe that from an ET8 point of view. They've got a little bit of a buffer to NLR and BRT, the Bunga Racing team, behind, but it's not an ideal situation, is it, for them?
No. Sorry, Gareth, you cut out. Which team is it not an ideal situation?
ET8. It's, they've got a little bit of they've got a lot of a pressure to ensure that they stay second and catch first. Yeah,
and where they put themselves in qualifying isn't ideal either. With both obviously BRT and obviously with Zinedine throwing himself in as well, that's not helping the top teams. So yeah, they do need to. I think crucially, they just need to try and stay ahead of TF10 in this race. Or generally just get more points than them by the end of the race, to claw them back in. We'll have to. Again, it's trying to predict these races. It's impossible. It really is. And throwing the rain in as well makes it harder. And sometimes I think I just should, it's trying to bet on the lottery, isn't it? It's so difficult at times in this league.
It definitely is. We'll have to wait and see how everyone will handle the pressure tonight. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to do everything. The rain is pouring here in Shanghai, and we've had a fair few little bit of wetness throughout, and I wonder if we're actually going to get any sort of interchangeable conditions here in Shanghai tonight, because Well, think about it. If it ends dry, I wouldn't say softs, but hards will go pretty much a long time in this race.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me. You know, the fact you'd only have to do one stop. You know, it depends how much they value or how much they think you can gain back by going onto a softer compound tyre or over a pit stop, Gareth. It's really one of the things. And I wish they hadn't taken the gravel trap out of the pit lane, although that had added an element of danger to the pit lane. But they've obviously concreted over that now. Obviously, 2007. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later, guys. I'll let you do the lights.
We are nearly here and ready for go time in competitive speed series, and away we go. It looks like a relatively good start from both the BRT drivers as they head on through into turn one, and it looks well. It is done and dusted. It's done very well as we find free wide in the background between Zinedine and Tony Richet. Are they going to continue on fighting? They are. It's just pure lack of grip for a lot of drivers, and they're allowed to go side by side.
Yeah, side by side, down. They go into this nice corner, still holding the inside. Tony Richet, can he push Zinedine out wide? I think he has. He's made the move stick out, and that is him up into P3. And Zinedine has got now under pressure by Epic Vale as they come through this middle sector. Everyone, like I said, trying to feel their way on the circuit. Tyres are still a bit cold as they try and negotiate this wet circuit here in Shanghai.
I see how Zinedine struggles. Well, they are struggling massively in comparison. BRT have just started to pull away a little bit up front. There's a Mercedes, I believe that must have been a Graveroch there, struggling in the back. Trying to get past, but struggling in the background. Lifebout holding just about over OVR Thomas at the moment. We are all on intermediate tyres, but let's see how everyone else is handling. Nico is up 4 places. Chorizo's down 3. Simba one is down a few as well. And here comes Brando in the background trying to get a move done on Koolman into the hairpin. They're side by side. And it's all, still side by side. And so is side by side between Epic Vale and Zinedine.
Yeah, there's a switch back from Epic Vale. Can he get the power? Yes, he can. They're still side by side as they come up towards turn 1 here, and Epic Vale just about takes 4th place off Zinedine here, and he's falling down to 5th now and struggling in the early echelons of this Grand Prix. Top 2 trying to run away with it. Tony Richet doing his best to keep up and is clawing them back in ever so slightly, but the top 3 broken away. They're almost a second, splitting 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Tony Richet's had to put maybe a bit more ERS than they were used to. OVR Thomas has got past Carrasco and Lifebout, I think, or maybe Lifebout has just dropped 2 places there, as that's unfortunate for Lifebout. But there was nearly an accident as OVR Thomas nearly, I think, bounced over Lifebout nearly. Unless it was a little bit of a game glitch through that. Is a yellow flag somewhere, and that is Rappies there in 19th place, having a mistake at the exit of, I believe, turn number 7 there. As well, it's calmed down a little bit as the 2 BRT drivers are sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, they're doing the best of it, and we were expecting Dry using that DRS to help them out, but they haven't got that luxury on this occasion, so they'll have to use a slipstream instead. And Tech leading the way here. Silo right down his gearbox as you expect, but they'll work together here, try and get a gap from Tony Richet in 3rd place, and we'll see whether they can split him. Now they are splitting that gap up. It's going up 10th here, 10th there, but again still early doors. You know, only now being in lap 3 of 28, but Tech brutal fast lap of the race as Epic Vale seems to be on a mission. Gareth, he's now quickest man on the circuit.
I think Epic Vale might be the one to challenge the BRT drivers in this wet weather condition. Tony Richet doesn't have an answer at the moment as Enel Koolman there in 6th place, trying to find a way past Zinedine, who's stopped the rot for the time being, but down to 5th place and dropping time. Obviously no DRS to assist them on this occasion. And, well, the dry pace is far different to the wet pace.
Absolutely, yeah. It could be a case he's not had enough practice. He's not put the time in, and that's maybe costing him a little bit. We'll see whether Coolman can catch up with him as they progress through this race in the middle sector at the moment. And they're just tiptoeing around the circuit, trying to put the power down where they can to try and catch the other out in a big slap of oversteer from Zinedine there, and that will allow Coolman to just claw back some time on the man in 5th place here. We'll keep an eye on these gaps, and there we go, already a 1.4 between 4th and 5th, Gareth. I think Epic Vale definitely a man to keep an eye on now. 3/10 behind Tony Roche. Is he close enough? Don't think he's close enough yet to make a move on a man in P3, the TF10 driver.
I don't think so, but Brando might be a little bit closer to Coolman as he had been a few laps ago, pushed incredibly to the inside for turn 14, but has made the move stick. Oh, I thought I was going to say, or has he? But he has done on this occasion. So Brando up into 6th place, and another driver looking very, very quick. Look at the exit of some of these drivers into turn 16 there, using as much as a curb, and I'm surprised not more of them have received warnings, if not penalties, at this stage. But Zinedine isn't well, it's probably because Coolman has just been overtaken by Brando, so Zinedine has had a little bit of a reprise, a rest from anyone attacking behind, as Brando now 0.7 seconds behind.
You can see the queue of cars that are forming behind Zinedine here. It's from himself all the way down to Nico in 14th place, it seems. And that's, they're gonna, the top 4 may break away now if they're not careful in this race. So keep an eye on these gaps and how, as the race progresses here, Gareth. But I think it might be worth keeping an eye on Epic Vale here as he comes through the end of the middle sector, trying to claw back time on Tony Roche, and it could be a move very shortly down this back straight from the ET8 driver.
Let's have a look at Epic Vale and how they handle this one. And while it is wet and we're being told that there is no dry weather to come, you don't have to pit. If it's wet all the way through, you don't have to pit. I am by no means endorsing that. China will absolutely destroy those intermediate tyres. You have to pit here. So you probably will throw another set of intermediates. Maybe, it depends how you want to play it. Maybe lap 10. But I don't know. These drivers know best. Their engineers know best. But at the moment, Epic Vale is just happy to stay behind. Maybe Zinedine has a little bit more pressure this time around, because Brando's all over the back of them into turn 1, and it's pretty much nose to tail.
Yeah, he looks to go around the outside of 2. Does he do the switch back through 3? No, not close enough at the moment. Through 4 they go again. Zinedine struggling with the tie at the moment, trying to get the power down as quickly as he can. Down to 6 they go. No move. Or late lunge by the TF10 driver. A bit of contact there. Wheel banging through turn 6. Who's got the power down early? It looks like it's Zinedine. And great on the exit. And managed to hold the TF10 driver off. But he's gone wide through 7. Can Brando do anything through this middle sector? It's almost single file through here. Not worth the time. The wasted time potentially go to side by side through here, and he'll wait until he gets onto the back straight here, guys. But the gap is really forming now. 3.1, splitting 4th and 5th.
That's not ideal at all for this trailing train of Zinedine down all the way to Nico Rasenberg there, as I think Carrasco is looking at a move as well on OVR Thomas. So moves possible all the way through. I wonder if Silo will make a move on his teammate. They're happy to stick as is at the moment. But here comes Brando. He's finally past Zinedine. And I think we might see OVR Thomas having a little sniff up the inside of Coolman as well. They're side by side through 14 and 15. Are they going to have any sort of grip difference through 16? They're going to try side by side through 16s, and somehow they've made it through, and there's no issues between them at the moment, and I think Coolman just holds on.
Watch out for Carrasco. He's going to the outside through 1. Can he get them both through turn 1? Oh, he's in the dirty stuff here. He's struggling, almost drifting ground 2. Somehow the car's still in a straight line. He might lose a place to grab down in 11th as well, but just about holds P9. I'm expecting that Ferrari into the wall at turn 1, guys, but somehow he keeps that car on circuit. Doesn't lose any places either, but that was almost the end of the race for Carrasco there.
Yeah, what I would class as a brown trouser moment, definitely struggling, especially on the outside of 1 and 2. He may be possible in the dry, but not in the wet at all. Let's see if anyone's going to give us a better camera angle as we go on board with Koolman, who's trying to recover from that as well, because Thomas, he had to make the move, attempt on the move, or otherwise he would have been overtaken by Carrasco into turn 14, but held station very well. No moves, I think, in the top 4, so let's stay in for the battle for P5 currently, which is Zinedine, who's holding a bit better now. Now he's following, he's in someone's air. They're doing a better job of holding their pace.
Yeah, I think he is, and whether he'll stay, there's just a swap of the lead as well. It looks like Silo's taking the lead back off his teammate, but back we go towards this midfield, and everyone seems to be staying single file on this occasion. So we have a bit of a respite from all the action. But Silo's taking the lead now with us tactical, or just he had the overspeed on his teammate here. But back, Dan, I say that though, there's a mistake from Koolman, Gareth, and he's all the way down to 10th now. Almost his teammates got past him, down to 11th for him.
He's unfortunate that they've left the session, and NLR is now down to 11th place, 12th place for Koolman, 13th, and that's not ideal, as we see probably heartache for the NLR team, who are definitely at this rate going to be overtaken on points by BRT as things stand. TF10 Tony Richet, who's had an absolute incredible season for the TF10 team, is really trying to give the BRT team some hell, and I think he's forcing them into strategies that they weren't prepared, didn't think they were going to get.
Yeah, sorry, absolutely, yeah, and I mean, I think the rain more than anything is affecting the strategies now, Gareth, in this race. So we'll see how that progresses. Just looking at the gaps as well, Brando's not managed to close the gap, and in fairness to Zinedine, he's staying with him. You mentioned it on the previous lap. Brando's struggling. It's 3.4, 3.5. Keep an eye on the gap to Epic Vale, but Epic Vale's not moved either. I think the top 4 are happy enough to stay in position now. Obviously, BRT controlling this race at the moment, and I think it might get a bit hectic near the end for these top guys. But then Silo makes a mistake at the final corner, and that brings everyone back together.
Yeah, all it takes is one mistake, as it's still raining down here in Shanghai. As we just go on board with Brando, just see it's not too bad. Let's maybe go on board with Zinedine and see if any spray. There's no spray really kicking up, so the rain isn't too bad for these drivers at the moment. So they should be able to handle it pretty well. As Koolman was rejoined again, and this is so if you're an NLR fan, this is so heartbreaking, unfortunately, for them. And Koolman now down to 15th when he was fighting for P5. That is it's a little bit of a gutter punch, but they are still in the points there in 15th, and that's really what you need to remember, is points all the way down to 15th place. And OVR Thomas now looks like a little bit of a bottleneck, because Zinedine and Brando are pulling away a bit.
They are. Yeah, no, you're right. There's 8 tenths between 6th and 7th at the moment. And we've seen a race see both Thomas and Carrasco being in this race. Lifeboat isn't far behind, but Carrasco making another mistake here, really pushing. I say that, though. Lifeboat makes exactly the same mistake. And he's both him and... guys, back to the front. There's a mistake by Tech, it looks like, and Tony Richet side by side coming around. I think that was turn 11 and 12 here. Through they go. Could this be an opportunity for Tony Richet to take second place off the BRT driver? Unfortunately, I think they're in a bit of a slipstream train here, and there won't be any moves just yet from the view. Oh, there's contact though. A straight into the back of Tech Brutal. Is that damage to the front of that Aston Martin? I don't think there is, but that was a bit of a squeaky bum moment there from Tony Richet coming through the final corner. No, sorry, previous corner.
Yeah, the carbon fibre on this game that flies off sometimes can be a bit frustrating, because you think it's a bit of front wing, but it's not. Thankfully, no damage to the front ones there. As OVR Thomas then a little bit squirrely out the back end of the final corner on lap 8, now on to lap 9, and he really Carrasco is really making him work to keep a hold of P7, and he's losing ground to Zinedine ahead. And ever since that move, OVR Thomas tried into the hairpin on turn 14 on Kuhlmann all those laps ago, it feels like now. They've just not had the same confidence, I think, throughout the middle part of the sector. And now 1.1 seconds. Zinedine still holding at that 0.6, 0.8 seconds ahead. Brando, if anything, is catching the drivers ahead, but I think that could be down to Tech's mistake on the previous lap. And because, well, it feels like we need to go on board with the leaders because they have, well, they've made a mistake, and we thought it, well, I, for one, didn't think that was going to happen.
Not at all. They've been so regimented in the opening laps, and we didn't expect it at all. But I think Tony's a bit slow coming off the final corner. I think Tony's straight line speed is far greater than some of the other. But guys, in the background, Carrasco's finally got past Thomas. But they're going to be side by side coming into the final corner here. It could be 3 abreast as well. Lightbout in the background as well. Who's going to come out on top? Into the braking zone they go. Lightbout's got the inside, and he'll take both the drivers. Simba Rocks 1 trying to get involved as well in all this. And it's 5 cars fighting for the places. Side by side in the background between Gavroche and Simba Rocks 1. It's all kicking off in this midfield battle. In the background is fighting between Nico and Brian as well. It's all kicking off, Gareth, on the beginning of lap 10.
What a move by Lifebout. Fair play, but we've had some pits. Brando, Zinedine and Slash have all decided to go early. I said lap 10, and I wasn't confident that would be the call to go for pits for the undercut, but they've gone, you know what, this is what we're going to do. Nordic is questioning a two-stopper. That's going to be, well, I'd never seen a, well, it's possible. It's possible. But I don't think these guys, I think they're just going early and getting track position and hope people won't catch up. I think probably lap 14 to 16 is when people are going, Ollie, what's happening at the front?
Hex made a mistake through turn 8, Gareth, and that's allowed Tony Roche up into P2, and he's finally managed to split the BRT drivers.
That is crazy. And Tech, someone I didn't think would make a mistake in this, has done so. And but at this point, they are 5 seconds in front of Lifebout, who is now the lead of that far second train. But Lifebout is pulled away from Carrasco. Lifebout has some pace. Have we been sleeping on Lifebout here? Because they've done a really good job to pull away.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he was sitting and waiting and finally got his chance on camera, and that's given him a bit of confidence. I think, Gareth, and he's now flying. Do these guys pits? Well, Tony Roche followed by Tech, followed by Epic Vale, all in. Silo stays out. Where will Brando and the rest of them go? Gareth, in the background, God, it's all kicking off with the fight for P6 and all this. Thomas and Brock's all fighting away, but God, where is? I'm trying to figure out where everyone is on the map, Gareth, with all pit stops.
It's very, very close. Simba Roxon pushed into the dirty stuff. Where is? I'm so used to Brando being in a McLaren, so I'm not sure. Let's go on board. Here they are, into 14th now. Where are they going to come in comparison to Epic Vale? They are close. They are very close. Look how much that undercut has worked for those drivers for just pitting a lap early. That is insane. They are right up with the leaders, which now the net leader is Tony Roche. BRT Silo, over to you. What do you do? Do you stay out and try a later one stop and catch these drivers up at the end? And look at just in front, Tech Brutal, and is that TR Paulos getting side by side through turn 7? That is dangerous. Tech had to make the move so he didn't lose ground to Tony Roche. Absolutely
had to, and there flies by Epic Vale as well. And I thought they were going to get stuck because Tony Roche got past both of them through 6. And I thought, Tech's going to get stuck behind him in that slow, long middle sector. There's a car off ahead as well, and someone in the wall. That's Rappies, I think, in the wall. Yeah, it is. He's got Gareth, his rear left. He's got a puncture.
No way.
Did not see that.
Well, we'll go on board quickly with them, but that is maybe that's why drivers are pitting. We've got a positional change for Simba Rocks 1 there, and how have we got? There's no way we're in puncture territory. at this point. That's mental. Lifeboat now takes the lead of this Grand Prix. This is going to be interesting. If we're in puncture territory on lap 11, I don't know. But let's go on board with BRT. Actually, 8. Let's go on board with his teammate because they are going to fly by. BRT Silo is now behind Zinedine, behind Slash. No, not behind Slash, but they're at the back of this one.
Yeah, the BRT dominance in the early echelons of this Grand Prix has been thrown out the window. Rapids manages to get it out the mud there, but still struggling. He should be able to get it back to the pits in enough time. But Gareth, this race has been thrown on its head here. Tech's gone wide through 6 as well, struggling now. And has that Epic Vale gone through as well? I think Epic Vale's got through Tech as well, Gareth. It's all kicking off. I didn't see what happened. He's not got any damage to that car, I don't think, but really struggling since getting those new set of inters on. And this race has been really thrown on his head after the pit stops.
I wonder, and maybe Nordic is right. The just the conditions, they're not wet enough, maybe, to keep the tires cool, because you're looking at it and it's raining, but it's not. Oh, there's
another puncture.
Else.
Thomas has got a puncture. Rear left as well. Another driver with a puncture yet to pit. Lifeboat's really got to pit now, as has all these drivers really got to pit if seeing all this. But Lifeboat's going around again.
Lifeboat is trying a one-stop. They are nursing the tyres to the best of their ability. Simba Rocks 1 is doing the same. From what we're seeing in front of our eyes, this is absolutely incredible. Epic Vale pushing further, faster. They are, 8 seconds behind the leaders, this front group of cars. Lifeboat is if Lifeboat pulls this off, I don't know what I'll do, but it's incredible at the moment. Looking at this, Nico Rasenberg holding up Tony Richet and Epic Vale, and oh my goodness, how has Epic Vale held that? Fair play to the guy in the ET8 car, and now battling away with Tony Richet again. But BRT, their race-winning hopes is fallen all over around them. They're crashing down. Nico Rasenberg has front wing damage as well. Where else is there battles? Because there's battles throughout everywhere.
Yeah, just trying to see if anyone makes a mistake, Gareth, and if they make a big mistake, then it's a chance they've got a puncture. Just keeping an eye on the top 2, still going around. Obviously, Nico a bit further back yet to do a pit stop. Let's actually change stop. So we've got Nico, Simba Rocks 1, and Lifeboat yet to make a pit stop here. I hope they all can make it round now. When do they pit? Are they going to risk it? If they're doing a one-stop, guys, surely they need to go a little bit further. One more lap, potentially. But then they can risk it at the end if they're battling away with other drivers. Oh, I'd hate to be where they are now and on circuit. I'm much better to be in the comms box than on circuit. But Lifeboat into the pits.
Yeah, maybe thinking safety car, maybe, I'm not sure. But Epic Vale is going to take lead of this Grand Prix. The ET8 driver is doing a fantastic job. But Lifeboat, I think if they survived one more lap, a one-stop would have been perfect. But lighter cars, it's not going to be so heavy. It's all possible.
Absolutely, yeah. It could well be. It's just trying to figure out whether the track is wet enough. And you mentioned earlier, there's no real spray off the cars, which obviously could be why we're seeing such a large tyre degradation on these intermediate tyres. But it's trying to predict it now, and it's difficult, isn't it? But we're back with a previous group of cars that were leading before the pit stop phase, and Epic Vale holding the lead with Tony Richet in second, Tech in third, Brando fourth, and Silo in fifth, not far away, and Zinedine in sixth place. Everyone's spaced out a little bit, as you can imagine, but I'm sure they'll all come back together very shortly. But Tony Richet looking very racy behind Epic Vale. Does he try and make a movie, or do they work together? Don't normally see them working together when they're not teammates, guys, but could well be an option to try and make a gap over Tech in third place.
I think that is... I I think that's what they have to do to ensure BRT don't do it, because look at this. BRT Silo is attacking Brando and has gotten past. Will we see Brando try up the inside? I think it was more of a just a reminder to Silo that he was there. You know what? I'm going to just remind you that I could go up your inside into turn 14, scare them a little bit. But BRT Silo looking very racy. Don't forget they are on a set of, let's go back to the tyres, because that's now going to be crucial. People are on different tyre strategies.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everyone's on the intermediates, but when they pitted and how they go about it, two very different things, aren't they? And you can see both Brando and Zindan done 5 laps, as well as Slash in 7th. 5 laps on those tyres already, while Silo's only done 3. He obviously lost some places in the pit stop phase, but could come back to help him later on in the Grand Prix. They are the likes of Lifeboat, Simbarox 1 and Nico Rassenberg all trying to do the one-stop here at Shanghai. It's all a lot of mind games, a lot of different strategy plays being held out here at Shanghai, Gareth. It's really trying to figure out how they're all gonna do it. But Lifeboat gets past Brian down in 11th, so keep an eye out for him later on. I think is definitely one that could throw a cat amongst the pigeons later on in the Grand Prix.
I think so. I think that is perfectly described there, because Lifebout is, well, done an incredible job. And you know what? When does Zinedine and when does Slash and Brando, who pitted early, when do they pit again? Because if this is a 2-stop, then, well, it's got to be a 2-stop at this point from what the reports that we're reading. Then when do... there's too many questions. When do they pit can cause absolute headaches to everyone else. We've seen how Silo's been managed by 2 laps, being able to manage Brando, get past Brando, managed to keep in front, and now catching back up to the top. But Brando, you've got to give it to him. He was nowhere near the top 4 battle. It's now a top 5 battle. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, fair play to Brando. As long as he can stay on the coattails of Silo here, otherwise he'll be in a bit of no man's land, because it's 3.6 behind is Zinedine, so doesn't really want to get caught up with Zinedine again after the first part of the race. So I'm sure he's hoping to stay with his top group now, but he is dropping back ever so slightly, so he needs to get a bit of a move on here to try and stay with the top guys. But still, Epic Vale holding the lead. But Tech has caught up with the top 3 guys, so it's not all over for BRT. They've still got a chance in this race. And again, Epic Vale going wide on the previous corner. That allows Tony Roche to get a little bit of time in him. And pardon?
I said, goodness me, Lifebout up the inside of turn 6. Sorry,
okay.
It was very, very sketchy is possibly a word to use, but NLR holding station, and I'll let you continue on. Sorry.
No, absolutely, yeah. Well, Coleman's back obviously in the race now, guys, but he's got a teammate ahead of him. But again, these guys have done 4 or 5 laps on their tyres. They're going to struggle later on. So yeah, Lifeboat definitely. I'm sure he's trying to get through, guys. He's got fresher tyres, and we've seen how quickly the degradation goes in this race. So we'll see. But back up to the front, Tony Roche takes the lead of this Grand Prix. Well, late move by Tech. No, decides not.
Yeah, let's see how Kuhlman and Lifebout round 2 holds down the back straight. Lifebout sticking into the back end and picking up slipstream. Will anything happen? Pulls to the racing line, heading into turn 14, means they'll have the outside line. There's still a little bit of contact between the two of them. Who's going to get the better grip out of the... And it looks like Lifebout might get into that, and they have done into P10, and Kuhlman has to hold off. But Gavroch there, the NLR drivers, managed to pull 1.5 seconds because of it.
Yeah, exactly. All that fighting has helped him hold that place. But in the background, though, Brian and Simbarox 1 still looking pretty racy. So they'll have to be careful not to fall over each other and cost themselves more time. Actually, Simbarox 1 doing a bit of an interesting line through there. Can he get the traction down? No, he can't. Can't get by for now. But Rapids gets a penalty for exceeding track limits, it looks like here. And not ideal for him down in 19th place. But still got all the drivers, Gareth, which is great to see on circuit. But I think we need to get back to the top 4, Gareth. Look how close they are on circuit.
Yeah, Brando's slowly dropping away, 1.6 seconds. But if we go with how long the tyres last in the first stint, maybe Brando 2 laps time pit, and they'll have the tyres that they need to get them to the end of the Grand Prix. Look at the BRT drivers swapping positions maybe in the background. Brando using some of the wetter side of the track maybe to cool those tyres down a little bit more. Smart move if that is the case from Brando. But look how close. You can barely separate the top 4. This is tight stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And he thought Silo might get the overspeed and make a move on Epic Vale, but not this time around. But like you said, Gareth, they're so close together, the top 4, and this isn't helping Brando in all this. Simba Rocks got one, gets past Brian in the background. I think that's through turn 15. 14. I will get there eventually. The top 4, look how close. Yeah, just pushing each other through. But like you mentioned, Gareth, could Silo pit? Well, sorry, Tech potentially pit sooner, and Silo stays out for a little bit longer. But we saw how powerful the undercut was earlier on. So keep an eye on all these gaps, and it's all still to play for. And again, Lifeboat, Simba Rocks 1, and Nico all still to play for with their one-stop strategy, Gareth.
And that's if they decide to do it. They might decide to just have the last 4 laps or 5 laps on really fresh intermediate tyres to come through the field. Retirement for PGR F1 Justin. Such a shame on, I believe, their debut in competitive speed series as his BRT Silo then still close to the back. Silo's the one, I think, with the upper hand on everyone else. But wonder if we're going to see any cars pit this lap. I don't think lap 18, I think maybe 19 for Brando and Zinedine, and then maybe lap 20 for the rest, include with Silo going a little bit further. There's Silo taking second place away from Epic Vale, and are they? That is very, very tight. Who's going to get a bit of grip out of turn 14 and into 15? Epic Vale's going to hold it in there, and they've kept P2.
He's hit the back of him through 16 though, Gareth, and that could be a trip to the stewards, but I don't know if there's damage with that car there. I don't think there is, but straight into the back of Epic Vale, and it's allowed Tony Roche half a second in all this, whether he just missed his brake zone or maybe he did want to go into the pits. Slash has retired. He's retired where Hamilton binned it. He's gone into the wall, it looks like. Let's get over Nico, and you can see where he's the front wings. He's just gone straight on, Gareth, and that's a safety car here in Shanghai.
Oh goodness me! Oh goodness me, indeed. BRT are possibly in a world of pain. Can they get around in time? Oh goodness, Hamilton, damage-esque area. Gravlock there in P5. It now means everyone is going to go onto a set of intermediate tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. Everyone's back on a level playing field, and Brando, Zinedine, and Carrasco should get a jump on a few drivers up above, but I think they'll only do it on Gavroche, Lifebout, and Simba Rocks 1. They've pitted at the wrong time.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know who. I'm trying to figure out where everyone's going to come out with the pit stops, Gareth. It's difficult to. We'll have to wait and see. Just thinking about it, Gareth. Does 2 Lifeboat Simba Rocks 1? Do they risk staying out or not pitting? Because we'll have another. Well, we'll go to probably lap 21 on the safety car, so you'd have 7 racing laps. So they'd be, because there's obviously less wear when they're going slowly now. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, we'll keep an eye on them as they come round. They're just coming down the pit straight now. I assume the top 4 will go into the pits. Tech trying to slow himself down so he doesn't get. Obviously, they're gonna have a double stack here. So Tech trying his best to slow down and not get caught up too much behind his teammate here.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious that they had to double stack. I'm surprised Tech didn't slow down, but they're going to slow down anyway. Or they're going to have to be forced to slow down anyway for the double stack. And Rappies, who's made that mistake with the puncture heading into turn 11, has got a little bit of a reprieve and might be able to fight for some points. Tony Roche and Epic Vale are going to lead this Grand Prix. Where is Brando in all this. Brando's jumped Tech because of the double stack there. That's an interesting... I didn't think Brando was close enough to it, but I suppose they are still going relative full pace around the track to catch up with the safety car. And there we are. We are up to the safety car. Protec is in 5th. Brando's in 4th. Well, it's TF10 in the lead and in 4th, and BRT in 3rd and 5th. And I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card at the beginning of this race.
Absolutely not. I mean, we should have thought about it. Obviously, Tech being obviously champion of the series as well as multiple race wins here in CSS. So, you know, it's difficult not to see him at the top. It's just looking back at the standings quickly. Obviously, sorry, just double checking everyone. But this would help TF10 quite significantly, especially with Brando in 4th now, and BRT. You know, their race was set earlier on. They didn't struggle. They were leading the way in. The wear on these tyres has really changed the game in this race. It really has. It's all kicked off. I think the great thing though, Gareth, both Thomas and Rappies have been able to catch up now because both drivers struggling with punctures. Hopefully, Rappies can catch up. Still doesn't pitted actually. He's the only man, and Chorizo as well, not pitted. So you guys, I hope they're not risking it to the end, because they'll definitely not make it to the end on these tyres, I don't think.
It'll be a struggle, that is for sure. But maybe they're trying a one-stop. Maybe they're trying something different. Let's see what Chorizo does. Do they throw themselves into the pit? They have indeed. Chorizo into the pit for a fresh set of tyres. The safety car. Oh, goodness me. Rappies is absolutely... I don't know, Tokyo drifting around turn 9 and 10 there. And wow, I wasn't expecting to see that when I jumped on board. We'll give Rappies some stream time as they are catching that up. Front end plate missing for the FRT drivers. They head on down the back straight. Surely a pit stop for Rappies as Thomas and Chorizo swap places, fresh tyres for them. I mean, Rappies maybe using this to hold out the safety car that little bit longer. Fresh set of tyres compared to everyone else. It might be a little ploy for Rappies, but the front wing definitely needs changing as into the pits they go.
Yeah, makes it around, drifts around. Great display for Rappies. Needs to be on a stunt show, really, Gareth, more than an F1 race, but he'll be pitting for a new front wing and a new set of intermediate tyres, it looks like. But will the safety car go without him because he's that far back? I'm not sure, Gareth. I don't know how it works in the game.
I don't think the game know how it works. Sometimes it'll do it, sometimes it won't. It's sometimes we've seen safety cars come out with 3 laps remaining and only have 1 lap and nothing ever works. It's just one of those. But let's see. Nothing's been said at the moment. Rappies has a lap and a bit, or a lap and a half in their current situation to get around the track. And oh no, safety car messaging. Usually the safety car message hits around the sector 3 point mark, but not on this occasion. Tony Richet then. Let's see how they handle this one. They've got to wait for the safety car to pull in. Epic Vale has given Tony Richet such a gap as Tony is waiting and gone, I think, far too early, as Epic Vale definitely sees an opportunity through this. Is that Brando going to be overtaken? Brando is looking very, very under pressure from Tech Brutal as they come through turn 1 into the lead as well. As Epic Vale trying to find a way past Tony Richet. It's all kicking off, and I think that's Tech up into P4, but Brando's holding station up the inside, and BRT Silo is now attacking Epic Vale.
Just not close enough to make the move stick, but side-by-side action between Tech and Brando. Down into turn 6 they go. In the background, you've got Zinedine and Carrasco fighting away. Side-by-side action from the top 7 here. And Tech just about gets past Brando here, and Carrasco gets past Zinedine as well.
It's all kicking off. The wet has not helped Zinedine whatsoever, but I don't think there's enough bottles of water in the world for me to finish this one if it keeps on like this, as Epic Vale trying to hold off Tony Richet, trying to hold off BRT Silo while trying to attack Tony Richet. I wouldn't want to be in that position because it seems like a rock and a hard place right now for them.
Yeah, it's really tough, and again, trying his best to keep up with Tony here as they get onto the back straight for the 22nd time, but I think it's Silo who's more in attacking mood, but Tony Richet's going to have to defend. Can he defend from both of them? Late on the brakes from Silo, can he make the move, sticking to turn one into first place? No, he can't, and he'll have to stay behind for now. Epic trying to go around the outside in the background. No, he can't get past Silo, but Silo into second now, and he's going to have to attack Tony to try and take the lead of this Grand Prix. Lap 23 or 28, Gareth?
23 of 28 indeed, and my goodness me, they're putting on a show. BRT have come to life since this last safety car and really attacking. Surely not in the background. That was a little bit of a mistake from Epic Vale, and it's allowed Tech just to show his front wing up the inside of turn 2 to Epic Vale, but nothing doing on this occasion. Coolman getting past Brian Emmers as well. Thomas up into 14th place. Rappies still 40 seconds off the pace, unfortunately, because the safety car didn't stay out that one more lap. Let's see, at the front it is still Tech in 4th place, trying to find a way past Epic Vale, but BRT Silo, the Bunga Racing Team driver who started on second on the grid in qualifying, is all over the back of Tony Richet, trying to find a way through.
Yeah, just needs to make sure he stays with him here, Gareth. Otherwise, he will run away with it. But Silo seems to have quite good straight line speed. We saw how quickly he managed to close down on that race lead in the previous lap, so keep an eye on the gap here. About 0.4 coming round turn 13 they go for the 23rd time. Epic Vale is closer, but I don't think his straight line speed is as good. Can he catch him down the straight? Don't think he's close enough on this occasion. Is Tech gonna catch him? No, I don't think anyone's gonna make a move. Or Tech late lunge into turn 14 they go. He doesn't got enough oomph in that car to get past Epic Vale, and this is allowing the top two to break away slightly here at the end of 23. More movement between Brian and Coolman in the background, fighting for P11 and P12 as well, but everyone's going gun-ho in the final laps, Gareth.
Well, take away from the leaders for a moment. Chorizo need to just stick to the back end of Paulos, because at the moment, with the penalties over Paulos' head, they will be getting a point, so they just need to focus on that. Brando looking like Carrasco could make a move as they head through into turn 6. This could be interesting for the point situation for TF10. BRT still need Silo to overtake Tony Richet for the lead of this Grand Prix. Lap 24 of 28. And it is very, very tight here. Simba Rocks 1 and Lifebout in 9th and 10th respectively, just losing ground to NLR Gavroch there, and could be problematic for their points haul.
Yeah, I think there's still plenty to play for, Gareth, and I think there will be more change in this race. 4.5 laps remaining of this Grand Prix, and can Silo get Tony Richet on this occasion? He's closer. He's been before. It's just shy of 3/10, but Tony Richet looks to get better exit though. But can Silo claw him back? He is clawing. He's clawing. Can he go to the inside? Yes, he can. He'll fly by Yasin Martin, and he'll take the lead of this Grand Prix. Tech trying to look up the inside of Epic Vale in the background, but Silo takes the lead of this Grand Prix once again as we come to the last couple of laps of this race. But I'm sure, Gareth, that isn't the end of the fight for the lead.
I don't think it will, but I think it's going to go into the BRT's hands, because Silo can use this to their advantage and maybe slow the cars up behind to allow Tech to do something, maybe make some moves. And there's a little bit of a mistake from Tony into the entrance of turn number 3 there, which probably won't help the tyre life. And we've seen already early doors that we can get punctures here. Obviously, probably not going to hit that stage at the end of the race, but you want to make sure you look after your tyres as best as possible.
Absolutely. We saw in epic fashion from Thomas and Rappies earlier on in the race, and we expected to maybe cause a safety car if it went pop at the wrong point, but didn't happen, and we had a safety car for a different reason, where Slash going straight on into the pit lane, where that's caused all this flurry at the end of this Grand Prix. But look how close Tony is the back of Silo, but Silo seems to have quite good straight line speed, guys, so we'll see whether Tony can keep up with him, and the better exit from Silo has allowed him to claw that. I think that's just about enough to get away from Tony here. In the background, I think they're trying to, like I said earlier, they think they're trying to cool their tyres on the wet line, but it doesn't really seem like there is much of a wet line down the back straight.
No, it's mental. It must be down to this dry, wet weather that we've got. I know that sounds horrendous to say, but it's just not wet. It's wet. It's wet, not just wet enough for Inters, but it's not wet enough for them to be absolutely imperfect in addition. Lap 26 of 28. The rain is still pouring here in Shanghai in competitive speed series. We've had 26 laps of, action throughout. And we've not sure whether it's gone left, right, centre or backwards, but it's been absolutely insane to watch.
It has, hasn't it? And we've still got 2.5 laps remaining of some epic action, hopefully, to end this fantastic Grand Prix. Still, Silo leading the way. Tony trying everything in his power to keep up with the BRT driver ahead. Epic Veil just waiting in the wings. Tech has made a mistake. He's lost a little bit of time here, and that's allowed Brando to try and claw back. I'm sure Tony could really do with the help from Brando here, but not close enough at the moment. And again, Tony Roche not close enough, and I think he needs to be within 3/10 to really make a move on Silo down his back straight.
I think, if anything, right now, it could be Epic Veil that makes the move on Tony Roche as we come down this back straight for the 26th time. And look in the background, is that Brando trying to... No, it's a bit too far away, trying to get as much wet as possible as side by side into turn number 14. Tony Roche and Epic Veil battling away, and I think that's going to be Tony Roche that just holds on because Epic Veil can't get the grip from the outside, but gone incredibly wide on the exit of turn 16.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a warning for him, and it's allowed Tech to get back at them both. Tech looks to the inside, but chooses not to, and there's Tony Roche going a little bit wide through 2, and Epic Veil is opportunistic up the inside. He'll have the outside for the next part of the corner through 3. Round 4, there you go. It's allowing Silo to get ahead. Can Epic Veil get the power down? He's been pushed right to the red and white rumble strip there. Hoops a curve for the next corner. He's got the inside through 6. In the background, Brando down the inside of Tech as well. And it looks like Epic has held P2. Can Tech hold off Brando? Yes, he can. We've got a new man in P2. And could that just maybe decide our race winner with all that battling? Epic's got to close half a second on our race leader, Gareth.
I think Tech's just used a bit too much of the rumble stick on the exit of turn 8 as well there, and maybe cost them a little bit of grip as they are trying to find a way back into this with Tony Roche and Epic Veil above. But BRT Silo 7/10 of a second in front of Epic Veil, just playing it right now is possibly the best thing for BRT Silo, not to worry about their teammate down in 4th place and just worry about their own race, because Epic Veil is going to come and attack, and we can see that coming down this back straight in the background. Zenit is trying to get back past Carrasco as well, as surely not. There's not going to be any late lunge from Brando into turn 14 this time, or are they going to try it? No, it's going to be Tech that tries it into 14. He's trying any which way to find a way past Tony Roche, but I don't think it's going to happen on this occasion, as Tech Brutal holds behind Tony Roche on lap 27. We're entering the final lap of this Grand Prix, and Silo has started to pull away.
I think Tech realises how much this could be for the BRT team, but round the outside through 1, surely not. He's got less grip on the outside, but he's keeping it there. He's keeping it there through 3. There you go. Can he hold it? He's still got the inside, a little bit of wheel banging through 3, exit of 4, towards 5 they go. Can Tech get the acceleration off the corner? Tony's still on the inside here, through 6 to go into the heavy braking zone, and it looks like Tech has taken the place off Tony Richey, and the man who's leading earlier on in this race is down to fourth. The TF10 fourth and fifth, and this is going to be huge for the championship.
I think TF10 need to make an order to let Brando through Tony Richey, because Tony looks like he's just struggling, and Brando was capable of attacking Tech through all that, but they're 1.2 second, this group, behind the leading two cars, and wowee, BRT might not take first and second. They look like they're on course for first and third, but let's have a look down the back straight. Nico Rasenberg has left the session, unfortunately. Can Tony Richey do anything to Tech Brutal down this back straight? Tony, this is his last chance to claim a podium. What can Tech do?
He's going to have to defend for his life here. The top two are set. I think there's more fighting between Carrasco and Zinedine in the background, but I think the top three are set here, Gary. I don't think it's going to change.
I don't think it is as well. Zinedine fighting, trying with Carrasco, but they're off the track. They're massively off the track. That is huge. But let's go back to the winner. The leader of this one was BRT Silo with Epic Vale in second. Third place for Tech Brutal, and TF10 nearly over the line at the same time. But NLR did manage to crop home in sixth place in the end. And let's see what more action coming across the line as OVR Thomas and Kuhlman, as there's a Red Bull, going sideways across the track there. And wow, let's give Rappies a little bit more screen time, shall we? But what an end to that. Tech had to throw everything in that first sector on that final lap. They've managed to make it stick in the end. And Tony Richey, well, there's a lot of drivers that will feel a little bit upset with the safety cars, I think, the way it's gone. But Rappies is coming down this back straight now, just giving... Well, he's got 2 minutes and 5 seconds to get down there.
Yeah, he does. We'll give him some, like I said, some screen time. Not drifting this time around, I don't think. Oh, he is trying to. He's trying to give us a show to end this race. So lovely if he can go sideways into the final corner. A little bit of sideways. He's trying his best. Onto the grass and into the wall. Oh, myself, all four wheels on that Williams. But yeah, what a race that was. And not only for Rappies, Gareth, he's just missed out on the points as well. He could have been in contention if he managed to catch the safety car. Brian gets driver of the day from the game. I think that's something we can discuss later on as we progress to the end of this Grand Prix. What a race, Gareth! That was non-stop.
The Chinese Grand Prix never fails to impress, and we've had another one here tonight. Two safety cars, some interesting action, an interesting not last corner, turn 14 incident to dissect. I'm sure the stewards are going to love that one. But right now, we see the top three celebrating on the podium. And let's... Right, make sure I export the data for everyone. But it's Silo who started second on the grid. That takes victory tonight. Epic Vale then was second place, and rounding out the podium was Tech Brutal. In fourth place was Tony Richey with Brando in fifth. Sixth to Gravroch. Simbarox won in seventh. Eighth to Carrasco. Ninth to Brian Emmers and Zinedine rounding out the top 10. Then you've got Lifebout, Nico, Thomas, Kuhlman and Chorizo rounding out the point scorers to 15th, with the last finisher of Rappies down in 16th, with no finishing for Paulos / or F1 Justin.
And breathe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Goodness me, that was a frantic end to this Grand Prix.
I mean, we should expect it really in this league, shouldn't we? With how it's been the last couple of races, and I think sometimes wet races can be a bit processional with no DRS overtaking, but I think that mix of weather that wasn't wet enough, wasn't dry enough, and that just caused mayhem for the drivers. Who would have thought, if we didn't have the safety car, would have double stop on intermediate tyres? That's not a thing, It's crazy, really. So yeah, great race and like a final flurry there, and I think that's really going to change the championship and how that all goes down. I'm hoping someone can give me a bit of a live update. on how that played out and how it changes the table before we end the stream.
Well, I will see if I can just quickly see the standings, see if they have been updated at all.
There's people in there, but I don't think they've modified it just yet, Gareth.
No, I think you're right. I don't think they have, as much as we'd loved it to. But we know how difficult get ensuring that the point standings are all right and everything. We won't push it too hard, but a nice was that 35 for a win, 26 is it for a second or 28 for a second? I can't remember. But some interesting points adjustment here in competitive speed series tonight. I am just going to see if there's anyone going to join us for a chat.
Don't think anyone wants to join us today. The question has been asked, but I think they're all. I think there's steam coming out of some of the drivers' ears, so I think we best not talk to some of them.
No, it doesn't look like there will be anything for tonight. So it's a great race from our point of view. Great to commentate over. We won't be seeing you next week, unfortunately, for the mystery round. What's your prediction for the mystery round? I'm going to write it down and see if it's correct.
Okay, so I know you mentioned Brazil earlier, but we've had Brazil, so that can't come up again. I'd love Silverstone. It's one of my favourite tracks. I don't think we'll have Monaco. I know everyone thinks it's Monaco when we do a mystery round, but I don't think we'll have it. Just trying to think what the race on the calendar. Yeah, I think Silverstone or Japan would be fantastic, but I'll have to tune in on Sunday night and catch it. Hopefully, I've not had too many beers after the skiing that day, but I'll keep up to date with everything that goes on next week, Gareth.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, and driver of the day for you today.
Do you think I'm going to go epic fail? We saw some great moves from him, great car control, 5th to 2nd, and I think he needed it with his teammate Lifebout. I mean, you just think, Gareth, Simba Rocks won, Lifebout and Nico. If we didn't have a safety car, they would have been in and amongst it as well. To have another 3 drivers thrown in there, which would have been epic. Yeah. But yeah, no, it didn't pan out that way. But yeah, for me, epic fail, driver of the day.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to go with Silo. He managed to make Silo. He managed to make it work at the end. It's boring, but he got the victory. When he needed to make the overtakes, he made the overtakes. So, but I suppose that's it for now. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back next week for the mystery round of competitive speed series, round 10, I believe. I can't remember if I've got that right, but if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. But we'll be back then. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.